Well, earlier this morning, former President Trump launched his new social media platform. It's a response to sites like Facebook and Twitter, which suspended Trump after the January 6th insurrection. Here with me now is CNN senior media correspondent Brian Stelter. Brian, we're already hearing about some issues that users are having downloading this app. Tell us about it.
That's right. I think this is another chapter in the war on truth. So we're seeing Truth Social, but, there's something Orwellian about the language around this, where a post on the site is called a truth, and it's coming from a brand, Donald Trump, that is known for dishonesty. Now, the app did officially launch this morning. It has been in development for months. They've already missed some deadlines. So now it's actually up in the App Store. People can try to download it, try to sign up. But already users are saying they're having a hard time actually getting on it. Now there's a wait list. And Devin Nunes, who you remember left Congress in order to run this social media company for Trump, he says the site will be fully operational by the end of March. So this is going to be a slow rollout by Trump and his allies, trying to create maybe a conservative version of Twitter. And I think it's a real test for Trump about how much market power he has, how much influence he still has, and whether his voice will be as loud when he's on his own site and not someone else's.
Well, remember, he would brag to anyone who would listen as to how many millions of Twitter followers he had. Now that's not something that he can do anymore. Who is his target audience? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I think that's a really
interesting. They're reaching out to.
That's really an interesting question. How many supporters of Donald Trump or MAGA-aligned figures are going to sign up for this, and how many are going to populate this with content? Because ultimately, social networking sites are about content, whether you're on Facebook or TikTok or Twitter or some of the conservative clones that have already popped up trying to appeal to the Trump base. I see this going one of two ways. This may end up being another example of two Americas splintering away from one another. There's a liberal Twitter and a conservative Truth Social, and it may just be another example of this country being pulled further apart. Then again, what made Trump work on Twitter? Why was he electric on Twitter? Because he was trolling. He would get a raucous response. Liberals would be yelling at him and conservatives would be dunking on the liberals. And he had this ability to kind of fight among everyone. And if you take away the other side, so to speak, if you're only speaking to one tribe, if you're in a conservative bubble of like-minded posts, I'm not so sure that still works or that still applies.
Right.
It's a different dynamic when you're just talking to people who agree with you. There's no trolling anymore. There's no so-called owning the libs. So I'm really curious to see if this actually works for Trump or if it's going to fall flat.
Yeah, because people who oppose him or disagree with him would really have to do an extra bit of legwork here to go find it.
I don't see them signing up.
Exactly.
I don't see them signing up, and that's going to be the test.